Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Bonus Points podcast, where today we will be talking about our much requested top 10 personal lists based on the list of the podcast. Is that clear? Is that clear what I'm saying?
I mean, I understand it, but then again, I understood it. Understood it anyway. Yeah. So basically, out of the games we've done on the podcast, we're going to do our personal top 10 of them.
Yeah, top 10 list of the list, as requested.
You got
by
it.
You guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy peasy. I think we're going to go back and forth and decide based on the games that are on the list. Is there anything you'd like to say about the list before we start, Joe?
First, I just want to say, do you have we got to give a shout out, because this wasn't our idea. This was recommended to us.
Oh no, I don't remember who.
I can get it. I can look, because I sent it to you. I can
find out.
You got it. Okay,
yeah.
We got to give him a shout out.
WhatsApp, right? Nicholas Archer. Quick video suggestion is you each make your perfect list of the list if you didn't have to compromise.
Oh, and
there we go.
He explained what we're doing way better than either of us did as well.
Yeah. We're just doing the top 10. We're doing the bit everyone's interested in rather than the full list.
The big ones.
But yeah, is there anything list related you'd like to cover off before we start?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to try and adjust the official list here, so I think I'm good to go in just for my personal ones.
So how many, when you went about picking your top 10, so my process was I tried to write down as many as I could that could be in the top 10, and then I deleted as appropriate, and I actually only had 11. So I was pretty close.
So I just went like top down and like just went like what would be my number one on the list, put it on. What would be my number two? And I went down like that. And then I kind of like stepped back and kind of squinted and and ahed a bit just to see whether I wanted to shift anything. But I'm pretty locked in for most of it. There's one dubious area that we will talk about when it comes up.
I have a dubious area too. I also did this over a couple of days because I remember from doing the other top lists that we did, it was like, you have to come back to these things. You have to go away and come back. Right, with that, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to just like not even do it in an order. Can I just like throw some on randomly?
Yeah, go on. Why not?
Just to see what reaction. So this one that
it's our video.
Do we want? Yeah, I know. So right, I'm gonna mess up using this. I'm gonna put Death Stranding at number 6.
Ooh, that is way lower than I was expecting that to go, considering where it is on our personal list.
Yeah, it was. I believe I surprised myself with that, and it is bang in the middle of the dubious area. So even though this is our personal list, maybe you'll say so to change my mind. But I was surprised because it's at number 3 on our main list. So that is a drop for -3 for Death Stranding.
Yeah. Okay, that makes me curious about the top. I have a feeling I'm going to hypothesize something. We're going to come out of this, and next podcast episode, we're going to change the list.
I hope so. That'd be exciting.
I think, and we'd have to say, go watch that video that we did.
yeah. That's good. That's good for marketing.
Yeah. It's cross-promotion. Right, okay. I'm going to put on one now. I'm going to pick and choose like you, but I am going to start with number 10. I'd like to give a little shout out to friends of the show, Enhanced Games, with their game Humanity, which I would put at number 10. Top 10, easily for me.
Yeah, that's nice. So it was at number 9 on our list, so it's a drop of 1 for Humanity.
So something's moved up. Something's jumped up from somewhere. Although saying that, I think my top 10 mostly isn't games in the top 10. Oh no, it mostly is games in the top 10. So. Okay,
yeah, I'm wondering. My guess is I feel like maybe Resident Evil will make an appearance. That will be the biggest jump, but I guess we'll not get ahead of ourselves. So let me do where Humanity would be for me. Humanity would end up at number 8 for me. Ooh. So that it jumps up by 1 from the original list.
Nice. Oh God, I'm getting worried. I'm already getting worried that we're going to change the list. I guess it's okay. I think we need to just like be dignified about it, and our minds change. Minds change all the time. That's allowed to be fine. Okay. Here's one that I feel like has been unfairly maligned, and I'd like to put it straight into the top 10. Something that's been bothering me for about 2 weeks now, which is Jet Set Radio Future.
Spoiler alert when you say 2 weeks, if you see when this came out.
Jet Set Radio Future, I feel like that was really maligned on the podcast. It really got to me that didn't get up very high. That's the first time ever that we've stopped recording and I've been like actually a bit annoyed. So I
feel like it was quite celebrated in the podcast.
I know, but it got pooed on the list.
I did see some comments that kind of agreed. I think Muppet did a comment saying that he kind of had the same thing coming later where kind of liked the vibe but struggled with the gameplay. Yeah, it's just so weird, isn't it, when you think about it's not like a film where you're like, oh, one element of it can be bad. Because with a game, if the actual controls, the way you're interacting with it aren't the best, then it just drags it down. Yeah, so that's probably the worst bit to not be good. Like if the gameplay's good, like that can kind of almost excuse anything else. Like there can be, I mean, you look at like Vampire Survivors, like the gameplay's the good bit. I guess there's music as well, but like the visuals and stuff is like purposefully quite like ugly and like literally just taken from an art pack. But if the gameplay's good, that can elevate everything else. And Jet Set Radio was the other way around.
Oh, stop saying it. Stop hurting me.
Right, I'm going to do, because I feel like this is going to be its time in the sun, just by guessing, looking at your side. I'm going to do The Walking Dead, which is going to maintain... Oh, no, it's not. It's going to jump up a position, actually, and is now going to be at number 9, where it was at number 10.
Nice. I didn't think we'd see The Walking Dead today. I didn't realise.
Well, I feel like this is going to be the only time we're going to see it. I mean, it's in our top 10, so it's not. I know, but
isn't it only just in the top 10? Yeah,
it is. It is number 2. It won't be in the top 10 probably next year, but it's there for a while.
I started playing season 2, and I did maybe an episode and a half, and I kind of stepped away from it. But that's not. I still remember season 1 being brilliant.
Yeah, I think season 1 is the pinnacle of, I think, Telltale in general.
Yeah. Nice one. Right, number 9. Okay, I suppose that's fair enough. It's not looking your side's not looking too dissimilar from what it actually is. Yeah,
everything on my list was in the top 10 originally.
It's because you're better at debating than me, so I have to give it to you every time. Right, okay. It's difficult to find them though. Okay, this one. I don't think there'll be any surprises here. Half-Life Alyx, what a game that was. My first proper VR experience as well, I'd say.
So where
proper AAA experience. Oh, in 8.
In 8. So that's 8. A jump up from 11.
From 11, yeah. So
that is surprising. I didn't think it would, I thought we were both pretty happy with where it ended up. I'm surprised by that jump.
Yeah, but there's so many good games on the list, isn't there?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, quickly I can mention, so the 11 games that I picked, the one that didn't make the cut was Mr. Driller. Because when I looked at the rest of the games, I was like, it can't stand up with those. As much as I love it, it can't stand up.
So Mr. Driller's at number 19. So just to put that into perspective, Ollie prefers Mr. Driller over What Remains of Edith Finch, Yoshi's Island, Earthbound, Undertale, The Walking Dead Season 1. Like, that's how much he likes his perfect little drill game.
It's perfect though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That is the one that does every element it has sorted out.
Yeah. No, but Half-Life Alyx, that's something that stayed with me. I think maybe that's probably also how I've ranked these as things that have stayed with me since we've done them. I
wonder if I would be closer to agree with you if that was my first time playing Half-Life Alyx, because I remember when I first finished Half-Life Alyx, how I felt, and then I think returning to it, I think it doesn't have the same. It's not as replayable of a game as previous Half-Life games, and so I think I already knew about the spectacle of it, so I was kind of more looking at the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even see the post-credit sequence, did I?
Yeah, the most mind-blowing bit of it, which we won't spoil here. Anyway, right, let's do the Mr. Contentious himself. Let's do Prey. Can you guess where it ends up on my list?
I'm going to guess 3.
You are correct. Prey would be number 3. It is number 7 on the personal list. So just remember, with all of the moaning about you saying it's too high, it would be number 3 on my personal. So even though you think it's too high now, I'm already sacrificing quite a bit for it being down at 7.
I don't think you're sacrificing enough. All of my games that I like are like in the bottom half of the list.
I like better games.
See, praise a game where the gameplay's not that good.
Like, there are issues with it. I wouldn't say you can. I don't think you could say the gameplay as a whole is not that good. Like, I concede.
It's good on paper.
I concede the things you don't like about it, but there's some things you don't like about it, like the difficulty that I like.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's no surprises there. I think, unless the boat's seriously going to get rocked if you're top two, I think I can probably guess what they are as well. Actually,
Yeah.
it might get rocked. It might be different from the list.
Ooh,
We'll find out when we get there.
I'll save that for later.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pick another one that I think will be obvious to me. Let's get the bottom three out the way. We got Doom.
Doom, number 9.
Doom, number 9, yeah.
Dropping
Doom, I
a
think.
space. Didn't expect it would drop us. I always thought you wanted Doom higher.
Yeah, I did, but there's a lot of things. A lot of mine aren't in the top 10, so it's like
Yeah, I guess
some of
there's
them are
more
gonna move
space.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think like it can't be overstated enough how fun Doom is still today.
Yeah.
Like that's a proper fun game in 2023, which is mad because it's 30 years old. But
Yeah, and that's another one that ticks all the boxes. Like great music, like the art, like obviously like it's aged like technically, but like it's still great. Like it still looks great.
Yeah. Let me just quickly run down because I can't remember which ones I've said the numbers for audio only. 5, I've got Jet Set Radio Future. 8 is Half-Life Alyx. 9 is Doom, and then 10 is Humanity.
Okay, am I going next?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
I'm very intrigued about your top 4.
Okay, then I will hold off and do that. Let me get my weird. Can I do 2 together?
Yes.
Can I do the recently
may.
christened Last of Us twins?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do Last of Us 1, or Last of Us Part 1, I guess it's kind of being referred to now with the remake, at number 7. And then I'm going to do Last of Us Part 2 at number 5. So basically, I've got Death Stranding in the middle, and then Death Stranding 1 and 2 either side, with Part 2 being on the top. And that whole area, like Last of Us Part 2 and Death Stranding are quite interchangeable, but really thinking about it, I do think Last of Us Part 2 is just a more impressive thing. I probably enjoyed them equally, but I think I just kind of got to give credit to what that team did, as in like that is kind of just pushing the industry forward, whereas Death Stranding is just a really me type of game and interesting. So that's all a bit blurry and foggy, that area.
Right. So that's the area that you're saying could move.
Yeah, potentially. List. Like that was the area I had to think most about.
Okay. Well, I actually have 2 of very similar games on my list that I'm also going to include right now. Why not? Last of Us Part 1 I got at number 6. And then Death Stranding, here we go, I've got at number 3.
Oh, wow. Big. So actually, no, Death Stranding is at number 3 on our list. So you're happy about that. You got it exactly where you want it.
I was the one that talked it up. I talked it up there.
Yeah. And Last of Us is at number 6 as well. So you're doing good.
There we go. There's a couple. Maybe I'm not so bad at debating after all.
No, it's just the ones we agree on.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's just the
I'm
ones
so
we
good at
agree
debating.
on.
You already agree.
Yeah, you get what you want
I
when
don't
I
even
agree.
do anything. Yeah. I mean, I think Death Stranding just really surprised us both, and that was a really joyful 2 weeks of playing.
Yeah. That is the most like the one that I was expecting to enjoy least, but I enjoyed most. Like that was the most surprising game in the good way round that a game can be surprising.
Yeah, and also I think the fact that Hideo Kojima tweets pictures of Death Stranding like all the time keeps it like in the front of my mind. Because like he is on it. He's like still tweeting pictures like.
And with the sequel coming round as well.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Do you want to go ahead and do Last of Us Part 2, just kind of while we're talking about those games?
I would, but it's not on there.
What?
It's not on there.
It's not in your top 10, and it wouldn't even be
not.
You like Mr. Driller more than Last of Us Part 2.
I've got Last of Us Part 1. I like Part 1 more. And I've already got that one.
No. It's not that you like it more than Last of Us 1. You like Mr. Driller, Humanity, Doom, and Half-Life Alyx more than The Last of Us
Last of Us
Part
Part 2. When I look back at The Last of Us Part 2, that was hard going. That was a hard time.
There was a bit in the podcast where because you were saying you preferred the first one, then you came around. There was, when we were ranking them, you agreed to put Part 2 above Part 1. Is that just in time you've kind of changed your mind now?
I think Part 2 is technically more impressive and is a better game, but I had more fun with Part 1.
I just found the story way more interesting in Part 2, like the way it jumped around, like Last of Us Part 1 is a very simple story. Like, it's told really well and has amazing characters. But it's just quite a simple tale of a journey, and I love it for that. But Part 2 is like a type of storytelling I've just never seen in a game, like before or since. And like, I get it. It is dark. It is brutal.
Yeah, it's too violent.
It is a nasty journey. But like it just blew my mind, and I had no idea what was going to happen. Like when you first control like a different character, and I've no idea who she is, and then the way it links up, like, it was amazing. And the way it sets up like a villain, and then you end up sympathizing. Well, most people end up sympathizing with that character because you're seeing through their eyes, and like that is what put it above number 1 for me. Plus, kind of the gameplay improvements.
I could see myself picking up Last of Us Part 1 for a bit of fun, but I couldn't see myself picking up Part 2. Even though I appreciate it, I couldn't see myself picking it up ever again.
Yeah, that's true. But that doesn't mean it's not. I don't like it more.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just saying. For
I could see myself picking up. No. I'm not trying to argue. But I'm just saying,
list. You're having a go
you
at me.
make that kind of argument a lot. But like, I could see myself picking up Mr. Driller, more than The Walking Dead. That doesn't mean I prefer it. It's just that's the type of game that you could pick up to have a bit of fun with.
Mr. Driller was going to be higher than The Walking Dead on mine. So.
I feel like you're taking the wrong argument from whatever I say. You're taking the wrong point.
No. We still haven't had anything on the list yet that needs to move on the proper list, have we? We haven't had anything here yet.
No. I to be fair, I did realise how good the main list is for me when doing this list. Was a realisation.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a pushover.
Right, let me do one of my next ones now. So this is Doom. I would put it at number 10. And don't what me. Yours is at number. Yours is at number 9. It's only one difference.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy that you included it because I thought you were just like, nah, there's no way it even needs to be in top 10.
What, you go back and listen to the Doom episode. Like, I
don't remember.
I was hot on Doom as well.
Okay, good. That's good. I was worried because you couldn't look up or down. It might put you off. Right. What have I got left? 7, 4, 2, and 1. Well, I'm not going to do 2 or 1. Okay, 7. This should be, if I can find it on the list. There it is.
Oh, he's digging deep, everyone. He's going down to the dregs.
Digging all the way down to find Resident Evil, which is now at number 7 in my list. I'm really pulling them from the bottom and bringing them up to the top.
So where I can't even see it on my screen. Where was Resident Evil? Where did you pluck that
22.
from?
22. God. It's like 3 times lower down than I'd like it.
You are making me feel a bit like an evil villain.
You are an evil villain. That's why. You are an evil villain.
How did I get away putting it that low when it would be number 7?
The thing that always wins is it always comes down to the camera controls. And you're like, the camera controls aren't good, so it can't go high. That's what it always comes down to. I mean,
it's not like it's a bit sluggish. It's like awful. It's
not awful. It's not awful.
Like the amount of times I'm just with a gun shooting the edge of a screen, like it is. And like the fact that you transition between one room to the next and then like the complete perspective changes and you're running like left to right and then now right to left. Like it's not a minor point. It affects every aspect of gameplay.
Yeah, but it's good. That's the thing. You need to look at it from that. Instead of thinking about it as it's bad, think about it as it's good. What about that? Have you thought about it like that?
You're backing up your theory of not being good at debating. Does it? Yeah. Did that Resident Evil feature on your top 20 of all time?
I don't know. I don't think so. 4 and 8 did. 4 and 8 did.
Yeah, I mean, if we were talking about one of like, you know, Resident Evil 4 or kind of Village or some of the newer ones, like I'm super hot on those, or Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is my favorite Resident Evil game. Like I love that format. And I'm not a horror guy. I'm not a zombie guy either. You know, like I like games like Last of Us and Resident Evil, you know, despite them being zombie games, not because of it.
Yeah.
Like I don't like being scared. Like it's not what I enjoy. It's like I love the gameplay of them. But I just feel like because I've played those much better versions of them, like this one kind of hurt a little bit with like the loading screens with the doors and stuff. It felt a little bit archaic.
Yeah. I think the first time I played it was only just after I played 4. That version. So it was like not that bad then. And also 4 was the only one that wasn't like that, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I didn't play the old ones back in the day, so yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was me, wasn't it? Yeah, 7 Resident Evil.
Okay, so we're now in a situation where we both have 1, 2, and 4.
It's weird. How's that happened?
Coincidentally. So I guess let's both do our 4s and then we'll do our top 2s to end with. So
okay.
You can probably can you guess what my number 4 is?
It's either, I mean, I know which 3 are going to be your last ones, but I just don't know which one's going to go where.
Okay.
This could be Disco Elysium.
It is Disco Elysium.
Yes. God, I'm so smart. I know you so well.
You do. You absolutely do. Goes without saying, I mean, Disco Elysium has gone straight up onto my personal favorite games of all time. Let me see. Let me look up where it ended up on my personal. I should be able to get it pretty
I think
quick.
it was like 6th.
Was it? Oh, had we played it when we did that?
Yeah, because it was like the 3rd game we did.
Yeah, but it might have changed because I hadn't played Bloodborne and stuff when we did that. So it's kind of like Dark Souls. So it's number 7 on my personal.
Oh, I mean, I guess 6. I'm not bad.
I think it got knocked down by Bloodborne because Bloodborne ended up above it. So so I guess we've done a whole podcast talking about it, and then also about every 1 or 2 podcasts we do, we bring it up again and go on about how good it is. So I probably don't need to say anymore. Like the only reason it's at 4 is because literally my favorite games of all time are up above it.
Yeah. No, fair. Disco Elysium is a constant thought in my life. I feel like that game really wormed its way in. Would you like to try and guess my number 4?
Yeah, I'd give it a go. So unless you've changed hard, Zelda was your definite number 1. I don't think Hollow Knight is going to show up here. I'm going to maybe say Earthbound as your number 4.
Ooh, that would be a good guess.
Is it the right guess, though?
It's not the right guess. It's Killer 7.
Killer 7. See, once again, it's so down in the dregs, it's not on my screen, so I forget about it.
I think we have a lot of underrated games on the list, but I think this is the most underrated game we have, even more so than Resident Evil.
Where did you pluck it from?
Where did I pluck it? Out of the sewers of 26, which, by the way, is my favourite number, weirdly enough. So that's
there you go. So
weird,
you're good. You're good. You're fine.
The game is so good and so it's crazy that it ever even got made, that I think we're blessed to have been able to play it and have it on this list. Like the stuff that it's doing, the more you think about it, the more it's like, you know, you run down a track, but it's like it means you only go to places that you need to go to. So actually it's quite clever, you know, and like you can only interact with things that are worth interacting with. I'd say probably the only thing about it I don't like is the puzzles are too easy. So it's like, which they are very easy.
I love that. And I remember that when the game came out, with people almost criticizing that, saying it's limited. I was like, no, it works with the gameplay, because the whole point is most of the enemies just slowly shamble towards you. And if you had free movement, you'd just sidestep them. It means that you stop, and then you have your shooting gallery, and then you carry on, and then you still have like basically all the freedom in terms of like you get to a fork, you go where you want. Like it's not like limiting in terms of you can't explore. Like, I love that system. Sorry, it's so low.
All the stuff in the game, I feel like every element of the game is like designed with purpose. Like everything has been put there for a reason, and everything works the way it does for a reason. Like, because they could have made a normal third person game. Like that technology existed. It's not that hard to do. And like there's not that you don't need a super high budget to do that. I mean, like look at Tai. But instead, they decided to do it this way. And it's like all of your actions are more purposeful. Like, oh, I'm now running and I have to think about what I'm doing. Because if I could run and shoot, I'd be just absolutely smashing the hell out of this. And like the thing about it being like not having a great attitude with women is true. And that does suck and is terrible. I feel like this game and other Japanese games like of this era, especially Metal Gear Solid, they kind of have their cake and eat it, where they're like, oh, well, women are powerful, but they're also wearing skimpy clothes. And it's like,
yeah.
You're trying to say something, but you're kind of throwing it back in my face by.
But
doing
then it's
both.
like, oh, it's not even like, oh, like we're like powerful woman for woman. It's like, oh yeah, this is because like guys find that sexy. Like it's for the men. It's like, you know, it's not for you know, the woman.
Yeah, but there's I don't know. This completely reignited my enjoyment of the series. So Killer 7's got some crossover with No More Heroes, and I've like played through those again since playing it. And I just think it's an unbelievable game. So it made number 4 in the end. Which, like, well, after I remembered, like, before we did it, I was like, oh yeah, it was cool, and I liked it, but I don't remember liking it that much. And then since doing it again, I also I got the book, the Killer 7 book. So
is this official?
This is official. Suda51 wrote a book explaining all the stuff like that was cut and that. And I opened it up, and the first line was Kun Lan, you know, the bad guy. It was like, Kun Lan was born 300 years ago. And I was like, okay. And then the second line was, he was born an adult. And I just closed the book. And I didn't read it ever again.
Does it have some cool artwork in it at least? Is there some like concept art or anything?
Yeah, there is. It's also like laid out really difficult way to read. Imagine it's all like the menus. So the text is like all up and crazy. Okay. But yeah, I was like, he was born an adult. Like, nope.
Yeah, I did like, maybe we will in the podcast, we can have a discussion. Like I am feeling a bit bad at seeing your list now and how dirty you've been done by the official list.
Well, hopefully people will see this and then they might give my games a shot. I don't know. I also was like really conscious of trying not to pick all of my own games. Because, you know, obviously we bring them. So it's like,
I mean, I just did an objective. These are my top 10. Like I wasn't doing like, I mean, it would be nice if it was joint games or guest games or whatever. And, you know, I've got guest games on there. Like obviously The Last of Us are guest games. Right. I'm going to do my top 2 because obviously I think for most people will know like top number 2 informs number 1 really. So I'm just going to do both together if that's all right. So I'll do 2 first, which I guess this is the more expected way. Maybe recent conversations, you might think it could have switched, but no, it is Hollow Knight at number 2. And at number 1, matching our official list, is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Nicely done. Maybe I feel a bit bad about Hollow Knight. It did well in the official list though. Do you remember where it is?
Yeah, it's number 4. It didn't get put on number 4. It's made its way up. It rose with Death Stranding. Both of them have had a journey upwards throughout. I hope that journey hasn't finished for Hollow Knight, but I've got a pretty. I mean, it's at 2 on here, and and it's number. I believe it's number 4 of my all-time favorite. No, it's number 5 of my all-time top 20.
Yeah, I mean, your love for Hollow Knight is not a secret, is it?
No.
That is a series that you love.
Yeah.
Cool. And still no news in sight for the next one?
Well, I mean, it should be almost definitely this year. I mean, it's meant to be out now, and they're spending more time to polish it up. Like, people like, obviously, like, it's become almost infamous for like how long it's taken to make and how long they've been quiet for it. Like, I'm like, if they said we're going to take 2 more years, I'm like, oh great, it's going to be even better. Like, I'm very patient with that. Like the level of polish in the first one, and they made that with like hardly a budget. Like it was kind of kickstarted and then had like a bit of funding, but that was basically a small team working very hard. And it was a big hit. So now they're doing this one with a budget. They can take their time. Hopefully, if they have an idea, they're not restrained by, you know, money and time. They can put it in. Like I think it's going to be a masterpiece, Silksong, judging by how good Hollow Knight was and it's the way it was developed and the fact that they were just asking people in offices to do voices for them and stuff, how shoestring budget it was. I think Silksong is going to be something special, and especially looking at the DLC they did for the first one, with some more of those resources, I am very excited for it.
Yeah, they'd have to really put a foot wrong to mess it up, right? Like even if they copied the first one, it would be brilliant. So
yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. And then obviously, sorry,
I have one more question about Hollow Knight 2, Silksong. Is it not? So that's not kickstarted.
I assume not. I think it'd be crazy if it was. I mean, Hollow Knight sold over 1 million copies or something. I assume
they don't need any more money.
Yeah, I assume it wouldn't be. And obviously, since then they've released it on the Switch where it did really well and stuff, and it's been on Game Pass and that. So I very much doubt they would need to kickstart the follow up.
They're probably self-publishing as well, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who does their publishing.
I'm going to very quickly find out just because I'm curious. I'm sorry, everyone.
It's sold as Team Cherry, isn't it, the developer? I think.
It's them. They're self-publishing.
They are self-publishing. That's cool.
Good on them. Good on them.
Yeah, and also let's not brush over Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, we did.
Let's get. We're getting there.
We did that was what is number one. I know we're bigging up Hollow Knight. I mean, I guess it's cool when an indie game is toe to toe with something like Tears of the Kingdom. We did the whole podcast on that recently. Obviously, an absolute masterpiece. I kind of recently spoke about how it's it didn't beat Breath of the Wild for me out of the two of them. But, they are very close. It's my second favorite. Well, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, they're kind of combined my second favorite game because they're so similar. Yeah, absolute masterpiece.
Nicely done. So my number one and number two. Oh no, what have I done? My number one and number two. It's a bit complicated because I'm still not sure even now which way round they should go.
Oh, we're going to have a discussion to work it out.
Yeah, I'm starting to think more and more that Disco Elysium should be number one, even though we made such a big deal of it not being number one anymore. Yeah. I'm like, maybe it should actually be number one. Maybe I was a bit caught up in the hype. Because on your personal list, as in not this one, but your best games of all time, you wouldn't put Tears of the Kingdom at one, would you?
No, I wouldn't. That would be Elden Ring.
Yeah, and wouldn't Disco Elysium be higher?
I think Disco Elysium would be slightly lower on my personal list. Disco Elysium is number 7.
Right, okay.
I mean, it would be nice if it gets number 1 here because it's I'll be honest, I don't think anything's going to beat Tears of the Kingdom on our actual list. I can't imagine a game that we both jointly like as much as Tears of the Kingdom. So, this might be its time to get its due, but I do think the fact that you haven't completed Tears of the Kingdom or played, half of it might be affecting this. You could go either way playing more of it. You could go up or down.
Maybe for now, because of what you just said, Disco can remain at the top. And then, bear in mind, I've finished Disco Elysium twice.
Yeah.
And I haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom once.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
and Disco Elysium is not easy.
Disco
Elysium is not easy or short either. It is a long game.
Yeah.
And I managed to get through it twice. I just think that game's, the characterization is just so good. And those characters really stick with you. When I played through it for the second time, I remembered all of the truckers and just all of the people that inhabit that town, which is quite odd because there's not a few of them, there's a lot of them. The woman who owned the bookshop and her daughter, and you can question her as to why she makes her daughter stand outside, and that is such a small detail, but I remember it really well, and the story of that has just stayed with me. So
yeah, but the thing with Tears of the Kingdom is the big yellow guys on the mountain are eating the rocks, and the rocks are
That's
making
great. I love that bit.
I know, but it's just funny the comparison. Obviously, story isn't the way you compare these two games.
I think, except for Tears of the Kingdom, maybe my top 6 are very much strong characters, really, really strong characters, and I think maybe that might be what I'm looking for in a game without realizing.
Yeah, maybe I'm leaning more gameplay. Maybe.
Yeah, like the characterization in Killer 7 again, but like considering they only have a couple of voice lines each, you kind of get such a good feel for them, and that crew is like a really cool bunch. So yeah, I think and also like Sam from Death Stranding, like he's a great character. I know you don't think he's that wonderful,
you liked him more than me.
I like him a lot. I like him, a little blue collar guy. Like
I wish he spoke.
yeah,
I would like him if
in the
he spoke.
cutscenes.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, no, I mean we're very lucky to have played so many amazing games in the last year and a half.
Yeah, and like there's a decent amount of the games here like I might not have played if it wasn't for the podcast. You know, there's some of them that have been favorites already that, you know, that I put forward. But even things like Doom that I'd completed before, I was probably never going to replay Doom again in my life, you know, but I did and did it with a more analytical view. So I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't think I would have played Half-Life Alyx. Probably wouldn't have played The Last of Us. I remember actually before The Last of Us episode, I was saying to you, like, I kind of felt like I missed it when it came round. So, because Last of Us 2 was already out and I was like, it's passed me by. So I don't have time. But yeah, very happy I went back for that. That really surprised me as well.
Have you noticed something something interesting about my top 10?
Not in an impolite way, but no.
All of them are in our joint top 10. Every single one of them is in our joint top 10. I just slightly rearranged them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not one of them is outside of our top 10. So that's how, when you were there, like, yeah, this was at 26 and I'm going to put it at 4. I was like, oh my God, I literally, all I did was rearrange the top 10. Like,
yeah, I feel like there's some games down there that with age, we could probably move back up, like up towards the top. I think games like Zero Ranger could really get a boost at this point.
Yeah. And I do wonder if games like Jet Set Radio, the further it goes, and Killer 7, to be honest, I kind of put them in a similar bucket. The bigger gap that I have from playing them, I will think of them fonder. Because I will forget me being stuck on that sewer level for like an hour, and I will remember the songs and like the stuff. You know, like I do actually wonder if that will help them. Like, not yet. I don't even want. Yeah. We don't need to open that discussion yet. But maybe with time, I will remember the better bits.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that some games might move around based on our lists, but looking at it, I don't think anything is moving up or down, is it?
No, I mean, for me, like, obviously there are little things that I would like to twist, but like comparing them, like Hollow Knight, I'm not going to get any higher. Prey, I'm not going to get any higher. Like, it's like I'm doing okay. I mean, we both have Doom a bit lower, but then again, I guess that's because you've added those extra games in that have pushed it down. So you probably wouldn't even want to move Doom down in our overall list.
No, also it's attached to Prey, so it would drag Prey down, wouldn't it?
Exactly. So it's a bit of a no-go.
No, I think we've got a great selection of games and we've done very well. I'm proud of the list. What can I say?
Good.
I know every time someone sees it and they laugh at Skyrim being at 25.
it's an us list. We are not trying to appease anyone else.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I can't believe you've only moved the top 10 around. You haven't added anything extra.
I was shocked because I kept like every time, as I said, I went down, and so I'd go like, oh, okay, I'm at number 4, and I'd go and look across all the games, and I kept looking down, but there was just no games that would replace the top 10. I was surprised at how minimal my shuffling was from how the list actually is.
Warcraft 2?
It ended up about where I wanted it. I was pretty, like, we were in agreement with where it ended up.
Yeah.
Like, I really try to push my nostalgia aside with that one. And so I think I'm doing all right. I think I'm winning.
Yeah. No, you definitely are.
I think an obvious thing is please comment your own version. So out of games on the list, not your all-time top 10, out of the games that are on our actual main list from the podcast, please comment your top 10s, because obviously our ones will be much closer because we made the main list. Like, I think it would be really cool to see like people with like Enslaved at number 5 and stuff, you know, like where, you know, like things like Undertale
so
probably get a big boost. Like,
we know who to block.
Yeah, like that would
Tie
be-
number one.
Yeah, I mean, and be genuine as well. Be genuine, but like, there's a lot of things, things like Skyrim and stuff. Like, I think there'll be a lot of jumpers from down below that will make their way up, and then like obviously people won't have played all the games on the list, so maybe things like Disco Elysium that I don't think loads of people listening to this have played, that might end up falling down. So yeah, that would be interesting to see. If you have played 10 games from the list, how would you rank them?
Yeah. Would you like to quickly read out your top 10 for audio only people?
Yep, sure. So at number 10, we have Doom. At number 9, we have The Walking Dead Season 1. At number 8, we have Humanity. At number 7, we have the original Last of Us. At number 6, we have Death Stranding. At number 5, we have Last of Us Part 2. At number 4, we have Disco Elysium. At number 3, we have Prey. At number 2, we have Hollow Knight. And at number 1, we have The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
I should make you
list.
do that every time. I always read out the list. You should do it. You do a great job. You sound like the game trailers guy. Do you remember him? The Screw Attack guy?
No, I was thinking I sound like the lottery. I didn't intend that, but halfway through I realised that was the vibe, and I'll stick with it.
Right, I'm going to do mine. It won't be as bombastic though, I'm afraid. So number 10 is Humanity, 9 is Doom, 8 is Half-Life Alyx, 7 is Resident Evil, 6 is The Last of Us, 5 is Jet Set Radio Future, 4 is Killer 7, 3 is Death Stranding, 2 is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and 1 is Disco Elysium. Forever in our hearts, Harrier Dubois.
So not actually a million miles off. I think it's just Killer 7 and Jet Set Radio, or I think, and Resident Evil. But yeah, the rest we're within I guess about 5 spaces for most of them.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, please let us know your own down in the comments below, and we read every comment, so we will definitely check them out
and be nice.
And be nice. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, or listening, and we will see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.
Bye.